their expenses. We don't want to make those open. Was there a debate in the House of Lords over the 900 billion being paid to the banks? Was there? You don't seem very sure. I don't think there was. I think Mr. Gordon Brown with his cronies behind closed doors voted the money out. But here's two of them, happily not married, both on a nice big fat MP salary, both making decisions. This is Balls, isn't it? Balls by name. And he's making decisions about families. He's a Bilderberger, I believe. I believe he travelled, allegedly, a couple of allegedlys in there, but I think I'm pretty accurate. He travelled to a Bilderberger meeting on public money, but he hasn't yet declared it properly. Here he is. Do you know where I got this wonderful slide from? I got it from his sort of World Faith site. If you haven't been there, go and see it. It's horrible. And just have a look at this man. His eyes, basically. If you look at this man's eyes, they are totally cold. He does not have a conscience. He doesn't mind how many soldiers have died. He doesn't mind about the children. He's not a human being, I don't think. But he was running the country, and then when he'd got it to a state of decay, he handed it over to Gordon Brown. We've got to do something about these people. We don't need violence. We just need to tell them that they don't have any more power. We're not interested in reading about Tony Blair. He's horrible. Did you vote for this man? So why is he there? Well, we haven't challenged it yet, have we? It's time we challenge. It's time every MP got a visit. Pardon?
He was elected in Scotland, he wasn't elected in England.
The important thing is to remember that he was helped into power by the communists. And if you look at the Labour Party and who's got a background in Trotskyism, Marxism, you will find there's a nest of them, and now they're doing interesting things with the bank. Or am I just suspicious? What about this chap? You know, but we've got to deal with them. It's time we took these people down. He's a Bilderberger. So why is this man having meetings with the powerful elite in the world? He's supposed to be there serving us. So we need to remove him, but we need to do it in the right way. Oh, dear. Yeah? It's not often we get the chance to actually look at these people. What a pair of idiots. They are traitors because they know perfectly well what's happening with the money supply and what Brown is doing, because the Labour Party, the Conservative Party and the Lib Dems are all taking policy advice from an organisation called Demos. We've proved that in the last edition of the column. And that means, strangely, a left-wing party and a right-wing party and a somewhere party, that's the Lib Dems, are all taking advice from a Marxist-based think tank that was set up to help Tony Blair, who you've just booed. So if Demos is driving the policy of the three parties, we can't bother anymore with voting for any of these people or dealing with our local MP if he's one of them. If he's one of them, he is one of them, and we need to ditch him or her. We need to pull these people down. We need to make idiots out of them. We need to challenge them why they aren't doing their job. I'm disappointed that we couldn't provide food and drink for you. Why does that come into my head? Bananas. Every time I look at this man, I see something not human. And of course, he was photographed with a banana. Do you remember that? You might not have seen it. He's a Marxist. We know all about him, we know his family, he's a Marxist. And he's playing around with policy which is destroying this country. If you met him in your local pub, would you want to talk to him? Don't think so. I've spoilt it. It's great fun booing, but we've got to remove them. And to remove them, we've got to bring them down, and that means exposing them. This man is disgusting. He is now making policy decision which is affecting all of our lives. He hasn't even been elected into a proper position. He's just doing it. He's going off eating caviar on big yachts with very dodgy people. And at the moment, we are accepting it. And I haven't yet heard real opposition to these people from any of the other parties. Very diplomatic. You know who I'm talking about. So let's start pulling these people down. Because whilst he's interested in his grubby little activities, this is what's going on. And if you want to know why the troops are in Afghanistan and in Iraq, it is to keep them out of the country, to kill them, to maim them, so that we do not have troops to defend this country when they move in the European police. If you doubt what I am saying, you will shortly be learning through us and other means that military bases are being closed for British troops in this country, refurbished, ready for NATO troops. Why do you want NATO troops in Britain? Because when the violence starts on the streets, which is what the government is planning next, you use foreign troops because there's no risk they will fraternise with the demonstrators. It is not a game. This works all the time. The country's falling apart. You can see it, you know it, that's why you're here. Well done. But the slide into chaos, there's something behind it. Now, if we analyse the country, here's a police state. The individual's there to serve the state. The state is governed by an elite. Is that what you're looking at? I think so. The state is the law. There's no such thing as a fair trial. People can be imprisoned without trial. This is happening on a daily basis in Britain. I get calls from people and they say to me, you need to be very careful. And I say, why? And they say, well, because somebody's going to shoot you or you'll disappear. And I say, why? I live in Britain. It's a democracy. Because the person who says that to me must know already it's not a democracy, it's a police state. When I die or disappear, it will be a big rubber stamp that everything I've told you is true. That's why, presumably, they don't do it, because I am annoying some people. Propaganda for the state, it is pouring out of the government, sheer lies and propaganda, and the BBC is doing it because the BBC is part of the machinery. The media, the newspapers, look at who controls them. A handful of people. It doesn't matter whether you read the Telegraph or the Express or the Mirror. It doesn't matter. The same individuals control them. The state maintains and funds an extensive intelligence and security system. Do you see they're recruiting more MI5 operatives? Have you seen that? They're recruiting ladies. It's in the paper. They put up adverts in gyms in London because they want fit, cunning ladies. They need them because there's some pretty poor MI5 operatives in this hall at the moment. Children are brainwashed. Children are being brainwashed in schools. The European stuff is in there. Don't take any notice of your mum and dad. Make sure you have a European food day. They're taught disgusting things about sex. They're shortly to be told that being heterosexual is not normal. Believe me, that is coming. and they're being asked to consider